Hello, this is Timothy Perfett from Twocanoes Software, and I wanted to show you some of the really cool new features we have for MDS 2. The first one, there's two major features I want to highlight. One is the fact that we can now do ASR images, which means that we've taken the time to install the OS from about 22 minutes down to about a minute and a half. So it's very fast. It's only really supposed to be used if you're at the same major version of the OS and you just want to be able to re-image that machine very quickly. So you can see that now when you go into a workflow like this one I have here under macOS, you have a new option, which is erase volume and restore macOS from disk image. And you can use auto DMG to create this macOS image. So you just drag the macOS installer in here, it creates that disk image, which then you can then select here. And I've selected one here. Let me put it, look at my resources. And you can see that I have one OS X-10146. And so you select it. Everything else is the same. You can still install packages, scripts, profiles, add user accounts. All the different options are available, including configuring Monkey. So it just speeds up everything. Basically, it makes it a lot faster. So the next feature I want to highlight is now we have a full MDM inside of MDS. So there's a new button up here, lower upper left-hand corner, and so we have this MDM. And so I haven't started yet, so I'll click on Start. I've already configured it, so you can see down here it shows the MDM service is running. I've already imported a push certificate. Twocanoes is actually an MDM vendor now, so we're getting the process of making push certificates available for people that want to run MDFs with the MDM functionality in it. Since we've enrolled in the DEP program, we've imported DEP token, and so now we're able to set up a Mac with MDM from scratch. So the idea is that with MDS, you would be able to reinstall the OS and put out any packages, initial packages you want, and then with MDM, you're able to, and DEP optionally, you're able to add an additional configuration and then get the options that MDM gives you, like being able to configure ARD for screen sharing without having to touch each machine, whitelist kernel extensions, install applications, whatever else you want to do when it's setting up these Macs. So let me show you how to go about doing it. So I have a VM here that is in the Mac that its serial number is enrolled in DEP, and so what I wanted to do is, when it first comes up, be able to completely set itself up. In order to do that, we have to give it some settings. So we have to configure the DEP MDM profile. And so I go into here, I give it a name, some contact information, what our support address is, the URL to this MDM server, which is running on this Mac I have here. The setup assistant, these are the screens for Setup Buddy that it goes through and will prompt the user. It allows you to skip them. And so I did select all. I'm going to skip all of these setup screens to make it kind of a very quick process. For resources, I'm going to install some packages, some scripts and profiles, just like we did with MDS on the side where we're creating the flash drive or the disk image. And you can see that for scripts and profiles in my resources folder, I selected a folder called DEP packages. And so the DEP packages have Boot Runner, Firefox, Google Chrome, Monkey Tools in it. I'm also going to do scripts, which is in a folder called scripts. Here it is, and the only thing it installs is the boot runner license, so it just copies the files to the path. And then profiles, if you look under profiles, these are not installed with the profiles command any longer. When using MDM, it's actually installed using the initial DEP profile. It sends it down. So that's all the settings. I can create user accounts as well. There is a limitation with DEP. They're only allowed to do one user account. So it'll just use the first one in this list. For the MDM functionality, of course, you can always have installed other users when you're doing the initial imaging part. We're going to set up a Monkey repository and deliver some other applications as well. And we're doing it over SSL, so we'll include the certificate. And then remote management. This one's very exciting because one of the reasons we have DEP or MDM and MDS with DEP is that you can enable remote management with ARD, so screen sharing will be enabled. I also turned on enabled SSH, so that's available. I can click on update. It'll completely package up and get all the resources ready, put it on a local running web server and be ready. I'm not going to waste time doing that because I've already set it up. So it's all running. So I'll just hit start up this VM. I'm going to make the window a little bit smaller. And what we should see is the Mac will boot up. This already has 10.14.6 in it. It'll boot up to the setup assistant. And when it gets there, it'll ask me for two, the language and the keyboard. Those are the ones you have to go through, and then whether or not you want to go into remote management. After that point, it takes it off on its own and should do all the configuration installs like I showed. The kind of the process that it follows is that when it hits that third screen, when it asks me to do remote management, it'll actually go up to DEP, see if it's enrolled, and if it is, grab what they called a DEP profile, and that tells it which setup assistant screens to skip, what the MDM server is, those kind of things. And then it contacts the MDM server, which is MDS, and from there it sees what resources need to be installed. So it's a very kind of interactive process. It bounces off of Apple to get that initial configuration record, back down the MDM server, and then goes on from there. All right, so it's about ready. It's about finished booting up. And hopefully we'll see the setup assistant come up and we'll start getting the resources installed. All right, so it's at the welcome screen. Since it's running in a VM, it doesn't know where I'm located, so I will give it the United States, and the keyboard is US, and I'll do OK. I'll make this a bit bigger. There we go. So we opted into management. Here it's just getting the initial information from Apple server, seeing what setup is, what screens to show in the setup assistant. And then once that's completed, it'll start setting up the machine. All right, what location? This one I can't skip, but all the rest of the other setup assistants can be skipped. You can see it's skipped here. At this point, it's setting it up. It's installing Monkey, Chrome, Firefox, Boot Runner, and also a script that has the Boot Runner license and also has the Monkey configuration in it. So the idea is that once this is set up, the machine's ready and to be deployed. All right. So the first thing we should see is the user account that we created, which I believe was called new admin. There we go. So I'll just sign in as this new admin. Oh, Boot Runner shows up, so that we know that it got that configuration. So that's actually a positive sign. And we'll sign in as the new admin. Oh, got to type the password correctly. There we go. So that admin user is valid, so we know we can sign in. We can see that the Boot Runner configuration has been set up, and we know that the Boot Runner application was installed, so that's good news. I'm also, one of the things that came out in version of 1, I think it was early on, 1.3, 1.4, we integrated Monkey and hosting a Monkey repository in MDS. And so I'm running that right now, and it's already been configured. So hopefully when this comes up, I can open up Manage Software Center, and we'll see the application, so we can start actually using it. So we go into Manage Software Center, and there it is. So I'll double click on that. Since it just got installed, it has to download the resources. There we go. It's downloaded. Now I can see under software, I have Boot Runner. It's already been installed, so I can remove it. Chrome's installed, but I also have Microsoft Office. So I can go ahead and install Microsoft Office right through Monkey. And if I wanted to add in any additional resources, I can go to Monkey Admin or the command line and add in additional packages if I wanted to. So that shows the two new features we're really excited about. One is to be ASR imaging, which means that now deploying Macs is going to be very, very fast. And the second one is a full-featured MDM, where we're able to use the features of MDM to do it. Oh, one thing I didn't show you is one of the things we did set up was remote login and remote management. You can see that these are both on. And so if I have this IP address, so let me go back to my host and go open up Apple Remote Desktop. It's called Remote I swear I have Apple Remote Desktop here. Yep, there it is. I was mixing it up with Microsoft's Remote Desktop. But anyways, let me add in that computer. There we go. Go to network address, and we have, what is it? 172.16.251.137. If it's on the local subnet, of course, we could just browse it. So let me go ahead and configure this. Add in my username and password. It was called new admin Twocanoes. Okay, that's done, and now we can go and control it. And if everything worked well with MDM and DEP, I should be able to go in and actually open up a window and interact with this one. There we go. Now I can move windows around, and I'm actually controlling the screen, so you can see that it worked great. So 2 brand new features of MDS. We have there's more features along with those as well, and I'll be doing different videos on how to configure it and install the certificates and all those kind of things. But I want to show you an overview because I'm really excited about these 2 new features: super fast imaging and the ability to have all the MDM features. So thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe and check out Twocanoes.com/MDS to learn more about MDS. It's free. We have support contracts that you can buy, as well as Automaton to speed things up with hardware. Those have a small fee with them as well. But bulk majority of it is free to download and free to use. Thanks very much for watching.